Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a rut, running in circles even when you're trying your best to move forward? It's incredibly frustrating, right? Well, what if I told you the biggest obstacle might not be your circumstances, but your own mind? Today, we're diving deep into the hidden scripts running in our brains called cognitive biases and how they secretly sabotage our growth. But don't worry, this isn't just about pointing out problems. We're going to uncover simple, actionable strategies to break free, reclaim control, and truly unlock your potential. Let's start with a big one, the negativity bias. Imagine you get 10 compliments and one piece of criticism. Which one do you fixate on? If you're like most people, it's that single negative comment. Our brains are hardwired from our caveman days to pay extra attention to threats. It was great for avoiding saber-toothed tigers, but in modern life it means we often give far too much weight to criticism, setbacks, and failures. This bias makes us overly cautious, afraid to take risks, and can crush our self-confidence. We might abandon a brilliant project after one person's negative feedback or dwell on a small mistake for days, completely ignoring all the things we did right. It's like looking at a beautiful painting but only focusing on one tiny flaw. Over time, this constant focus on the negative creates a distorted, pessimistic view of ourselves and our abilities, making it almost impossible to grow. So, how do we fight back against this internal critic? The first step is simple awareness. When you catch yourself spiraling over a negative thought, pause and label it. That's my negativity bias talking. This small act creates distance and takes away its power. Next, practice what psychologists call reframing. Actively challenge the negative thought. Ask yourself, is this really the whole story? What are the positives I'm ignoring? A great practical exercise is to start a wins journal. Every day, write down 3 things that went well, no matter how small. Did you finish a difficult task? Did you have a nice conversation? Did you simply get out of bed on a tough day? By deliberately focusing on the good, you begin to retrain your brain. You're not ignoring the negative. You're just balancing the scales and giving the positive the attention it deserves. This practice builds resilience and shows your brain that life isn't just a series of threats to be avoided, but a landscape of opportunities to be embraced. Now, let's talk about another sneaky saboteur, the sunk cost fallacy. Have you ever continued watching a terrible movie just because you already watched an hour of it? Or maybe you've kept pouring money into a failing business project because you've already invested so much. That's the sunk cost fallacy in action. It's our tendency to stick with something, not because it's the best decision for our future, but because of the resources, time, money, or effort we've already sunk into it. Our brain hates the idea of waste. Admitting that our past investment was a mistake feels like a loss, so we double down, hoping to turn things around, often making the situation even worse. This bias keeps us in dead-end jobs, unhealthy relationships, and unfulfilling projects long after we should have walked away. It traps us by making us prioritize the past over our future well-being and growth. Overcoming the sunk cost fallacy requires a radical shift in perspective. You need to learn to make decisions based on where you are now and where you want to go, not where you've been. A powerful question to ask yourself is, knowing what I know now, if I weren't already invested, would I still choose this path today? If the answer is no, that's a huge red flag. It's time to consider cutting your losses. To make this easier, try thinking of yourself as a new consultant hired to advise on your own life. What would a rational, emotionally detached outsider recommend? This mental trick helps separate your emotions from the decision-making process. Remember, letting go is not an admission of failure. It's a strategic decision to reallocate your precious resources, your time, energy, and money towards a more promising future. True strength isn't about stubbornly sticking to a failing plan. It's about having the wisdom and courage to pivot. Another common trap is the confirmation bias. This is our brain's tendency to actively seek out, interpret, and remember information that confirms our existing beliefs. If you believe you're bad at public speaking, you'll notice every stumble, every nervous twitch, and every bored-looking face in the audience. You'll conveniently ignore the people who are nodding along, smiling, and engaged. It's like wearing glasses that only let you see evidence that proves you're right. This bias creates an echo chamber in our minds, reinforcing our limitations and preventing us from seeing ourselves in the world objectively. If you believe you can't learn a new skill, confirmation bias will ensure you only see the difficulties and ignore any signs of progress. This makes personal growth incredibly difficult because you essentially arguing against yourself with a deck stacked in favor of your old limiting beliefs. To break out of the confirmation bias echo chamber, you have to become a belief detective. Start by actively seeking out dissenting opinions and contradictory evidence. If you think a certain career path isn't for you, intentionally look for stories of people with similar backgrounds who succeeded in it. Follow creators or read books that challenge your worldview. Play devil's advocate with your own strongest beliefs. Ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? What would that look like? Another practical tip is to focus on data, not just feelings. Instead of saying, I had a terrible workout, look at the facts. I lifted 5 pounds more than last week, but my form on the last set was a bit off. This objective approach separates your performance from your feelings about your performance. It forces you to look at the full picture, not just the parts that confirm your pre-existing narrative. By actively challenging your own conclusions, you open the door to new possibilities and a more accurate understanding of your true capabilities. Finally, let's touch upon the Dunning-Kruger effect. This is a fascinating bias where people with low ability at a task often overestimate their ability. You've probably seen it. The amateur singer who thinks they're ready for the big stage, or the novice investor who thinks they've cracked the market. On the flip side, highly competent individuals can sometimes underestimate their own abilities, assuming that tasks easy for them are just as easy for others. Both ends of this spectrum hinder growth. The overconfident beginner doesn't see the need to learn and improve, while the underconfident expert might suffer from imposter syndrome, holding them back from taking on leadership roles or sharing their knowledge. They think, if it's so easy for me, it can't be that valuable. This creates a mismatch between actual competence and perceived competence, leading to poor decisions and missed opportunities for everyone. The antidote to the Dunning-Kruger effect is a commitment to lifelong learning and seeking honest feedback. If you're a beginner in any field, adopt a mindset of strong opinions weakly held. Be confident enough to try, but humble enough to know you have a lot to learn. Constantly ask for constructive criticism from people who are more experienced than you. Ask them, what am I not seeing? What's one thing I could do to improve? This humility is the fastest path to genuine competence. If you're an expert who tends to downplay your skills, take time to mentor a beginner. Teaching someone else forces you to recognize the depth of your own knowledge. You'll quickly realize that the concepts you find intuitive are brand new and complex to others. This process can help you recalibrate your self-perception and appreciate the value you bring. Recognizing where you stand on the competence ladder is crucial for mapping out your next steps for growth. So, as we've seen, our minds are full of these little shortcuts and glitches that can seriously hold us back. From the negativity bias making us dwell on failures, to the sunk cost fallacy trapping us in the past, confirmation bias blinding us to the truth, and the Dunning-Kruger effect distorting our self-awareness. But here's the good news. You are not your thoughts. By learning to recognize these biases, you can begin to challenge them. It starts with awareness, questioning your automatic reactions, seeking out different perspectives, and staying humble and open to feedback. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a continuous practice of mental hygiene. It's about becoming an active driver of your own mind rather than a passive passenger. By doing so, you can break free from these invisible chains and start building the momentum you need for real, lasting growth. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these insights give you some powerful new tools for your personal development journey. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content on mastering your mindset. Let me know in the comments which cognitive bias you struggle with the most. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next video.